Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass
I am so tired. Hi, my name is Sydney, welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Fume. And of course, you guessed it, by me and my new little tea company, Lides Tea Exchange. And to celebrate the fact that I just had a birthday and have officially hit the wall, I'd like us all to celebrate with a 10% off store-wide discount. As you guys know, this company is 100% my pride and joy, and a lot of love has gone into making it and making something that is worthy of you guys to actually purchase. I also see your orders, and I'm quite familiar with some of you by name by now and what you like, which I think is actually really cool. So use code THEWALL for 10% off, 5 days only, get around it, link in the description box. All I want for my birthday is to pack orders, and that's not a joke, I really enjoy it. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Number one, I am sorry that I disappeared for the last couple weeks. I am trying to get out of the habit of doing that. I know I have a very bad track record when it comes to uploading regularly, but my objective going forward is to continue to upload as much as I can whenever I have something to say or a good idea or whatever. So yeah, big apologies for that, totally not intentional, but the reason it happened was because my mom actually was visiting from Australia for a number of weeks, and you know, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who are new to this channel, I am Australian originally, although I don't sound like that, and I've not lived in Australia for a number of years. I don't get to see my parents all that often. Obviously, there's a giant ocean between us. So when anybody from my family comes to visit, they are my priority, and so I will, you know, occasionally disappear, and this is just the way that it is. So to my mom, who is inevitably going to watch this video, I love you, it was great having you here, and to everybody who lives near to their parents, close to them, gets to see them all the time, hug them close, because it sucks when they live really far away from you and you wish that they live close and they don't. Just, you know, be nice to your parents, they're cool people.
I love you! I love you too! Give mommy a kiss!
Secondly, I also moved house, as you can see. You probably can't tell actually, because it's still a white wall with a similar kind of setup happening, but I moved house, so it's been you know, for the last couple weeks, and so this, I don't know what's happening with this, really I don't. I never do, but if you guys have any suggestions of how you think I should lay this out, I'm very intent on actually creating a proper office space this time, and a proper kind of studio setting space this time. I'm terrible with design, I'm not creative with that at all. I was honestly thinking of just green screening it and then just, you know, putting myself on a mountaintop. So let me know if you have any ideas that trump me sitting on top of a mountain, although I do think that that's peak. Just, do you get the joke? It's peak.
Yeah, that's not funny.
So yes, apologies for the state of things and how it's all looking right now. Just give me a couple weeks to kind of settle in and work out what I'm doing, because like I already mentioned, I have no idea most of the time. June tested me, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway. Now, I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I really do believe that the advent of social media has actually brought us a lot of really good things. I was there for the rise and fall of MySpace. It gave us everything.
Because tonight will be the night!
Social media has always been great for things like connecting, and staying in contact, and finding news and current affairs, and stalking people that you went to high school with to feel better about your own life. But with the rise of platforms like TikTok, with this emphasis on short videos to accommodate everyone's shortening attention spans, and with the ability to monetize most content these days, we are seeing people do more and more to siphon engagement from viewers and collect their little green bits of paper. These people just want to get their bags. Please sit down on a rocket and launch yourself to Jupiter. Now, besides acting like an absolute moron out in public, which I actually happen to make an entire video on if you want to go check that out, I will link it in the description box, one of the most lucrative ways of farming this engagement is rage baiting. Rage bait or rage farming is absolutely everywhere all of the time. And if we're being honest, that's actually been the case since the internet came into being, except back then we just called it trolling. And that was mostly just 12-year-olds with internet access calling you names until you just You'd accepted that they'd won. But for those of you who are not familiar with the current iteration, rage baiting, rage farming, and rage posting are essentially the act of creating and posting content, video or otherwise, designed specifically to boil the blood and suck people into engaging. And engage we do, because what the hell is this? An abomination, like most things on social media. I know that absolutely every single one of you has come into contact with this kind of content. It can be as simple as mispronouncing words on purpose, knowing it's going to enrage people.
If you spread chorizo on a tortilla, fry it, then flip it.
Or cooking food stupidly to also enrage people.
Pour the mixture through a strainer and then add it back to your pot. Grab yourself a bowl, take a bite, and enjoy. This is so easy and so good. You gotta try it.
This is not how you make mashed potatoes, friend. Just buy some potatoes. This is like mush paste with the side of seed oil. Let's not do this. Somewhere out there right now, there's an Irishman just screaming.
Huh?
Oh no, wish I had some diddly-dee potatoes. Sorry, that was rude. But it can also be as serious as actively creating entire accounts that exclusively repost rage content, or being an influencer who exclusively makes it. Now, what made me want to talk about all of this was a particular rage bait situation that played out very recently. It started when a young woman called Gaddis posted a video of herself to TikTok in May. In the video, she says the N-word while referring to her friends' husbands as broke.
Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass.
But you know what also can make you really mad? Quitting your bad habit, which is why today's video is sponsored by Fume, who can help with that. Staying fit and healthy is always a good idea. It lets you run away from danger, you can lift up heavy things and put them back down again, and maybe even survive a nuclear apocalypse. Okay, that last one might be a little bit unlikely. But having a health-impacting bad habit can really stop you from achieving your potential, which is why you need to give Fume a try. Fume is this neato, award-winning little flavored air device designed to break any hand-to-mouth habit. And because your Fume is not a vape, it doesn't use vapor and has no heating components, you don't have to worry about ingesting gross chemicals. All you need to do is pick a flavored cord that you like, pop it in your Fume, and inhale yummo flavored air. And speaking of flavors, Fume has several to choose from, like sparkling grapefruit or white cranberry, for example. But I am a basic lady, and I personally love the crisp mint. And don't forget, your Fume comes with moving parts and magnets so your hands can stay occupied while you break your bad habit. And best of all, Fume has been expanding its range, adding this sleek new Solano Fume and a Fume base, which is an all-new magnetic stand for your device. So if you too value health and want to break your bad habit, then click the link in the description or go to tryfume.com/Sydney or scan the QR code on screen. And for a limited time, use my code Sydney to get your free Fume base when you order a journey pack. This video sat mostly unviewed for an entire month before it got picked up and posted to X, formerly Twitter, which I'm just going to keep calling Twitter. To fight me, Elon. This, unsurprisingly, caused an insane reaction on both sides of the political aisle, with plenty of people accusing Gaddis of racism, while others found it amusing and lighthearted. Her TikTok was also seemingly deleted over the video. She went so viral, in fact, that she gained thousands upon thousands of followers across all social media platforms in only a matter of days. Then she ended up on several alternative right-wing media shows and has continued making this sort of content. Shortly after going viral, Gaddis tweeted at the Black community saying that they played directly into her hands by reacting the way that they did, which has now launched her career in right-wing media. I am genuinely begging all of you to stop hating people into e-fame. Can we please bring back some barriers of entry? I'm not asking a lot. As a completely unrelated aside, I have a ton of opinions that relate to this issue, including that I don't really understand how America as a whole has designated one specific word, a big no-no word, that some people are allowed to use in a lot of contexts and situations that shows up in entertainment and in music and in pop culture, but if you have a particular color of skin, you're not allowed to use it? Like, that's... I also just generally think there's a conversation to be had here around who we collectively decide to elevate, whether it's political or not. But in the political sense, I feel very strongly about who people decide to look to for political thoughts and feelings and advice, and, you know, just generally not being super great at identifying who is in fact an actual grifter and who is not. And I hate using that word because it's so overused and so improperly applied. But yeah, there's that. But you know, that's a conversation for a whole other video. But the point is, Gaddis knew that saying something inflammatory would make her content pop off, and that's precisely what happened. And she has continued to make this sort of rage bait content, which has continued to garner the attention she's likely seeking. Now, I know that there's probably a group of people, a bunch of people, who think that this sort of thing is perfectly okay. And maybe it is. Who's to say? I'm not the, you know, czar of what's right and what's wrong. I am the doctor of it, but I do think that there is a whole argument to be made about the destruction of quality content and the nonsense that's being repeatedly churned out right now. You no longer have to be clever or funny or talented to make a name for yourself in media. All you have to do is open your phone, record a video of you saying something inflammatory, hope that somehow it hits the algorithm, and you catapult yourself into super stardom. So now we have this emerging class of influencer and type of content that recognizes that interaction, whether it's good or bad, is very valuable. In the early days of Twitter, for example, getting ratioed was a little embarrassing. Now it's an influencer strategy. And as long as making people mad remains a form of digital currency, we're going to see more and more people doing this kind of thing, making this kind of content to maximize the engagement on their content. Back in December 2022, Business Insider published an article called "On TikTok, Creators Farm Rage to Get Clicks and Make Money, but it can be a fast race to the bottom." The piece discusses a bunch of things, including a TikToker called Ryan Gorlick, whose name I'm probably mispronouncing, let's be real, a young man who built a huge portion of his online following pissing people off with his content. Most of the content itself is harmless, like Gorlick calling espresso espresso, or biting into a whole Kit Kat bar, which I just found out apparently is very upsetting to people. But Gorlick does these things because he knows that people find these actions universally frustrating enough to aggressively engage with the things he does. The article notes that since he started posting this sort of rage bait, Gorlick's engagement increased 5-fold. At the time of reporting, he had gained over 350,000 followers and no doubt had been making some good money. But Gorlick isn't alone. He's actually part of a huge group of people who knowingly make content, both harmless and not, with the sole purpose of forcing a negative reaction. Weaponizing anger has always been an effective way of captivating an audience. It's been done in politics, just for example, forever and ever. But now, with the current state of things, with social media and all these influencers, we're able to see how people's anger can be useful in real time, not only as far as getting engagement, but also making some money. So, you know, obviously, it's leading us down a really stupid rabbit hole.
Can I just say that of all the idiots, in all the idiot villages, in all the idiot worlds, you stand alone, my friend.
Like I said, not all rage bait is serious. Some of it is just genuinely incredibly stupid and annoying. The mispronunciation of a word, or how to make a coffee, or whatever the hell this is. I actually learned that the mispronunciation thing is an especially useful form of rage baiting, given that it gets other creators to engage with the original content to correct it or make fun of it or whatever.
You lay out prosciutto, then add brie and walnut. It is so delicious with tizaikai.
Literally don't know how to pronounce this word, but PepsiCo just officially recalled their sugar-free Shua Peepees ginger ale for containing full sugar.
Schweppes. Shwapipis is what you do to make children. Now, the line on what separates harmful and non-harmful rage bait is probably different for every person, because at least I'm of the opinion that making people mad and keeping people in this perpetual state of anger is not good, regardless if you're whisking eggs into sprinkles or if you're doing something out in public that's actually horrible. So let's cast our attention to some more serious forms of this kind of content. A good example of this is a woman called Winter Zezu. Zezu? I don't know how to say this. A notable rage bait influencer who posts videos acting inconsiderate and oblivious out in public, pretending to be accosted by waiters in restaurants, or doing generally inappropriate things to make other people upset. In several videos, she is eating dinner when a restaurant employee approaches her table and says that she's too pretty and is making other diners jealous. Yeah, very believable.
I'm really sorry about that. Actually, like, if you could stop eating, we're gonna take that outside for you.
Not touch my...
We're gonna take this outside for you.
Oh my god, excuse me, sir. What is going on?
We can wrap it up. You aren't allowed to be in the restaurant anymore.
For what reason?
So we have like a couple of complaints that you're actually like, it's really funny. You're too pretty to be in the restaurant.
There was a couple over there and the woman left them mad because they're so jealous and like are afraid that she's gonna get jealous again. Most we can do for you is give you this napkin so you can cover your hair and face so like no one gets jealous in the restaurant. It's the only way we can do this.
Welcome to another episode of I Don't Know What's More Depressing. The fact that this works, or the fact that there are people who believe this is real. There would be way less of these people if we just took the warning labels off of laundry detergent. In another clip, she's shown walking across the street to get an aesthetic shot while cars honk all around her.
Can you imagine that I'm making a video? I don't care, stop. I have to finish the video. It's green now. Oh my god, these cars are driving me crazy. It's green, why? I don't know why he's honking at me. Oh my god, okay, I'm just gonna redo the whole video.
All right then. She deliberately acts entitled and clueless, and if this were real, this would in fact be infuriating to watch. But it isn't real, and she isn't clueless. And some people in the comments weren't even convinced that the honking is real, which adds an extra layer of just how awful all of this is. But these videos bring the views, evidently, and the more of them that you make, the higher chance you're going to go viral, because we all need to be mad to feel something. I don't think a lot of people have had a feeling since COVID, when all of our emotional spectrums were replaced with visceral rage. A Rolling Stone article that references Zezu says that she makes anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a month from making this sort of content. All from people engaging with content that is designed to piss you off. And the worst part is, people fall for this repeatedly. It is especially common with relation to accounts who make up cheating scandals, like this creator here called Louisa Melcher, who mostly posts videos telling fake stories that center around herself as the main character, so to speak. Many of them are completely outlandish, such as having a professional baseball-playing boyfriend who gave her cheap seats at one of his games, or getting arrested at the Met Gala. That actually, maybe this one really happened. But many of them also revolve around cheating. Each of these videos racks up millions, like literally millions of views, putting thousands of dollars in her pocket. And this is something that continues to go viral because most people feel very strongly about infidelity, as demonstrated by their visceral reactions in the comment section. But all of this, you could argue, is still not the worst of the worst. All of it is dishonest, and yes, it is incredibly shitty to do this to people for views, but you know, actually a sad reality is that cheating content has been around, especially on YouTube, for a really long time. And maybe this is just me, and maybe I'm just making excuses for other YouTubers because I'm very partial to this platform, but I feel like even the cheating scandal fake content that was made way back when, people so easily identified was fake because they had to create like 10 minutes worth of it, whereas now these people make 1 minute, a very clipped short 1 minute clip of whatever's happening, and for some reason that just feels more believable. It's like there's less room for error. I don't know how to explain it. Now, I have a problem with most of the content that we've discussed so far, but the rage bait that I hate by far the most and have the most issue with is that which is posted deceptively, edited deceptively, and is designed to pit people against one another. So, you know, just like regular 2024 stuff. A few days ago, several Twitter accounts had posted a video where women were given balloons and were asked to pop them based on the attractiveness of the male dating offering. In this video, we see these women slowly popping their balloons as the male contestant is speaking. It's, of course, a little bit sad. He continues to speak while balloons are being popped in the background, giving us the illusion that every single girl passes on this guy.
That compliments me, someone that's by my side, definitely loves me for just me.
Okay, as an aside, this girl was like fighting for her life trying to pop this balloon. I have never seen someone struggle so hard with a piece of rubber. Yes, there's an obvious joke here to be made. No, I'm not gonna make it, but I wanna. Ultimately, some of the women were asked to explain why they basically passed on dating this guy. Their reasoning was largely that they weren't attracted to him, and he responds very kindly to each of them, complimenting their hair, their outfits, their tattoos, and so on. Now, the comments on these posts are about what you'd expect. People getting very angry at how shallow these women are, making grand statements about women generally, and using this comment section as a place to air their personal grievances with dating and with the opposite sex. And the primary posters got exactly what they wanted. A bunch of views, tons of comments and likes, and a viral post purely based off of people's anger towards a group of women who are potentially rejecting this guy. But here's why this is a problem. Anyone who could have been bothered to do a little bit of digging would have come across the rest of this video, where a young woman who didn't pop her balloon was expressing to the male offering that they share many of the same interests, that he can tidy up his way of dressing, which the other women had an issue with, but he ultimately seems like a really nice human being, and that's what she's looking for. And the comments on this video are a completely different vibe. People saying that this was a really wholesome interaction, that it made them smile, that it was nice to see two people genuinely connecting. But this video, evidently, has a lot less interaction. It has fewer comments, fewer views, because at the end of the day, niceness just doesn't bring the engagement. This same situation played out for another video that went viral back in January. In the clip, this woman expresses that she got sick of being a mother and effectively abandoned her children. She tried to claim her children on her taxes and was angry to find out that the other parent had already done this.
In November, I decided I no longer wanted to be a responsible parent, and I gave up my kids. I was just tired of being responsible and caring for them. I felt like I was too young and I wanted to go out there and experience life, and I started dating someone else, so it just didn't fit with my new lifestyle.
On its face, all of this sounds absolutely terrible, and if people are mad about it, well, I don't really blame them. And then they were mad about it.
What has this world come to, man? This woman, this mother is mad that she has to pay child support because she abandoned her kids because they didn't fit her lifestyle.
But as with the balloon situation, there was more to the story. Wow, shocking, crazy. Can't believe that. This woman had in fact not abandoned her family, and she was not trying to beat the IRS, although she should, because taxation is theft. She is actually a California-based credit counselor and was recounting something a male client had told her during an appointment.
That's exactly what my conversation was like right now with the client. The craziest thing is that, unfortunately, men tend to do this a lot. They just tend to walk off and pretend that those kids never existed. They don't want to pay child support. And it's almost like it's okay, if you're a guy and you do that. But the minute a girl does that, oh my gosh, I'm sure you wanted to kill me for the first 30, 40 seconds of this video.
If anyone had bothered to play this clip out in its entirety, they would have found that out pretty fast. So whoever originally cut this and posted it and went viral with it knew what they were doing. They knew that they were taking out a huge chunk of the context that made this video make sense. Instead, this woman was unreasonably hit with a barrage of hate, going viral for all the wrong reasons, all because somebody took her video, deceptively edited it, posted it, all to generate some rage. And as an aside, and I probably have feelings about this because I make content and other people post my content and do whatever they want with it, I hate that people can steal someone else's video, cut it and do whatever they want with it, and then make money off of it by making people hate on that person. Like, that's just... I feel like that's wrong. And I guess this brings me to one of my biggest issues with rage bait generally, but besides the obvious stuff. Back in August 2023, Mashable published an article called "Elon Musk's app pays users now. Expect an engagement bait deluge." Deluge? Deluge. I'm certain this is deluge. I don't know, don't bully me. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm too lazy. The writer made the claim that monetizing posts on Twitter would lead to even more aggressive engagement baiting. And regardless if the writer here likes or hates Elon, if she's left or right wing, she's making an actually salient point. One that I have personally watched come to fruition on the platform that I used to love above all the others. People will legit sign in and be like, if I had 14 nipples, will my wife still love me? Thoughts? Like, no, the only thing that women love with 14 nipples are cats. And you're not a cat, I hope. That would be terrifying. Paying people based on interactions and impressions will lead to, and has led to, engagement baiting. And again, sorry to be a broken record, but one of the easiest ways to do this is by inciting anger. We have seen it blow up on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, just about every platform that financially rewards people for views and interaction. People will knowingly tweet irritating things, like that stretch marks are disgusting, that beautiful actresses are mid, knowing full well that people are going to feel a need to give their 2 cents. And this is more or less the issue with monetizing this sort of content overall. Take, for example, this Kayla G lady on TikTok. A few months back, she created a several video series detailing a fake cheating scandal. She racked up over 40 million views on the first video of the series alone. If that video is monetized, and if this page that says that TikTok pays 50 cents every 1,000 views is right, Kayla made somewhere in the realm of $20,000. Which is madness. So look, the bottom line for me here, and in my opinion, rage bait is not good or healthy. But with this said, it is kind of unavoidable in a way because we naturally are going to get mad at things that we see and engage with on the internet. That is a given. But I certainly don't think existing in this perpetual state of stress and anger based on the content that you're consuming online is remotely the way to go. And that's unfortunately what a lot of these content creators and accounts and whatnot are banking on. That people, just by virtue of the way things are right now, are in this perpetual state of anger and being mad all the time. And honestly, I kind of think that's why maybe a lot of social interaction is not super epic these days, because people are just incredibly pent up all the time. It's also probably worth me making mention of the fact that there is a discernible and distinct difference between content that just makes you mad by virtue of the fact that it's frustrating to read or listen to or whatever, and content that has specifically been designed to make you mad for engagement purposes. There are plenty of creators who you could probably accuse of rage baiting, but in reality, they're actually just making content that's their opinion or something that they're interested in that just so happens to be enraging. Like, they're not doing it on purpose. It's just like a side effect of reporting on stupid stuff. And yes, I'm saying this because I probably fall into that category. Like, I don't mean to make you guys angry. I just happen to cover things that are of interest to me that are a little bit infuriating. So yeah, little bit of a self-protection thing there, but I don't know. I think that's a very distinct and fair point to be making here. For those of you in the comments who are going to be like, but Sydney, you do the rage baiting sometimes. You know what? I do. Yes, you're right. I do it sometimes. It's mostly on Twitter, and it's mostly directed at the red pill. I find their screaming delicious. Ultimately, rage bait isn't going anywhere. Not anytime soon, anyway. It's been a staple of the internet since the outset, and it's going to continue to be a staple of the internet. But the purpose of me making this video is largely just to remind you all that it exists, and to be a little bit discerning when you're looking at content online and realizing what's been made for the express purpose of eliciting a feeling in you and getting you to react. I know you guys are smart people, and I know that saying some of this might be a moot point as it is, but I do think it is really important to learn to parse what is real and what is contrived to attract engagement. And remember, importantly, social media platforms don't care if the content that's being made is terrible. They want you to spend as much time on their apps as humanly possible. So if popping rage bait in the algorithm and rewarding creators who make it keeps you engaged, these platforms are going to keep doing that. After all, it's been scientifically proven that things that make us angry are shared more widely, precisely because they make us angry. So in the end, getting mad here and there, especially in this increasingly frustrating polarized world, is honestly completely fine. But it's always worth being on the lookout these days for those who are deliberately trying to incite you just so that they can make a buck. Now, before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out Fume using the link in the description or scanning the QR code on screen. I really like Fume as a company, I like what they're all about, so go and check them out and remember that when you support them, you actually are supporting this channel. And of course, don't forget to use code THEWALL for 10% off when you buy from my company, Lions Tea Exchange. Go and do that. Let's have a birthday celebration for me, and the celebration is me packing your boxes, which I thoroughly enjoy. Now, open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are you somebody who falls for rage bait? Are you willing to admit that? Are you somebody who sees it and you're like, nope, I know exactly what's going on here? What do you make of the fact that people can make a boatload of money by making you incredibly angry? Do you think that it's good? Do you think that it's bad? Do you just think it's the direction in which we're trending? Do you think that these people shouldn't be able to make money? That this is bad and exploitative of people's feelings? Do you think it is resulting in us being more divided than ever? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed already, consider hitting the subscribe button if you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content. Also, leave this video a like and a comment because I do read the majority of your comments and I always like hearing your feedback. Of course, if you have any video suggestions, feel free to let me know. I also have a running list of those. But in the meantime, my beautiful, pretty people, I will see you in the next video.